All right, so how we feeling now about this Diontae Donte trade as we sit here a day removed? Do you think we got fleeced? Do you think it was just a straight up fair deal? Solid deal for both sides? Or do you think that the Steelers got the upper hand? Let me know down in the comments, but I think I still have the same reaction as I did where we left off yesterday, and that is let's just wait and see what the Steelers do for the rest of free agency and also in the draft and how they address the receiver room and how they address the rest of the team as well and fill in some of those other pieces and needs that we have. But I do have additional notes, some things that weren't discussed in yesterday's video, and just some additional details that have popped up since the trade became official. And first, we got the Steelers being in talks with the Chiefs about trading Diontae. That's interesting. But ultimately, they didn't want to trade him within the conference, and that makes sense. So who knows? Maybe the Chiefs did have a better trade package to get Diontae, and I don't know what it would have been. Like Judy went for a fifth and a sixth. How much better were the Chiefs offering? Was it a fourth round pick? Was it a fifth round pick? A sixth round pick instead of a pick swap? I don't know, but the Steelers looked at that and said, all right, even though we might be getting better compensation from the Chiefs, it's not worth it to trade him within the conference, particularly to a contender, particularly a team that has Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Because if the Steelers are serious about contending here and view themselves being a team in the mix late in the season and also in the playoffs, then yeah, helping out Patrick Mahomes and giving him another weapon to his arsenal, probably not the best of ideas. So if it was only a marginal uptick in the compensation for Diontae, like it just would have been a fifth round pick or a sixth round pick, fourth round pick, whatever it was, like, yeah, maybe you just trade him to the Carolina Panthers. Maybe that's it. Because despite us thinking Diontae didn't fully live up to the hype here, didn't reach his potential, he's still a damn good receiver, and him in the right system and him with a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes could spell some trouble. And then the second thing is the salary cap. I know I was a little bit confused yesterday about what the cap hits were going to be, like how much of Diontae's contract were the Panthers going to take on, how much of Donte Jackson's contract were we going to take on. Ends up, it's just going to cancel out essentially. I don't know all the exact details. I'll put a tweet up on the screen for you guys to read, but yeah, it's basically an even swap. We got the upper hand in the draft pick swap, but in terms of the player for player and what they're going to cost against their teams, right now it's even. But there are reports out there that we are going to be looking to restructure Jackson's deal, maybe extend him for an additional year or two. So even less of his cap hit right now will go against us for this season, which kind of says we are definitely serious in upgrading this team in free agency. If the moves we've made thus far haven't already said that, I think getting a restructure on a new player that just came in to clear up some more cap space says, listen, man, we ain't done. Like, we ain't done. Like, not only do we have cap space, we have other restructures to make with the TJ Watt, a Cam Hayward, et cetera, but the new guy that we just brought in, let's restructure his deal so maybe we could get an extra $5 or $6 million in cap space. But they also did it with the Patrick Queen deal. There were some more details that came out about that. I think he's only going to cost us like $6 million against the cap this year. Now, it's one of those things, yeah, you got to pay down the road, but I think we're trying to load up for 2024. And we can do that considering we have Russell Wilson on the vet min, and we also have Kenny Pickett still on his rookie deal. Third thing, Steelers were trying to trade for Donte Jackson last year. So this is a guy they've liked for a while. I think there were some reports and rumors out there that we even liked him coming out of the draft. But we've been looking for corners. We've been looking to upgrade at the position several times over the last several years. And, okay. Yeah, I guess we really like Donte Jackson, despite the Achilles, despite some of the injury history that he has. They think he fits what we got going on here in Pittsburgh. And just in terms of his play style, thing I forgot to mention yesterday, he's super fast, blazing fast. Ran a 4.3 coming out of LSU. He did tear his Achilles 2 years ago, missed most of 2022. So he's lost a little bit of a step, but he's still fast though. Like if you look at some of the tape last year, he still can go sideline to sideline. He's fast out there. If that's one of the things we wanted to focus on this offseason, getting faster on defense, getting a little bit more spry, Donte Jackson can still bring that to the table. He's a decent tackler against the run. His size hurts him, though, because he's only 5'10", smaller frame. So he's little, but he is willing to tackle, and he is an outside cornerback. Even though he's got the frame and the prototype to be a slot guy, he did some of that in college. He's been majority outside in the pros, and I think one of the reasons why that might be is because Carolina plays a lot of zone down there. So he's been more of a zone cornerback. I don't know how that's going to translate coming up here. I know we have more of a man identity, but we also can play zone. So maybe Jackson will be a little bit more versatile. Maybe we'll bump him into the slot, and we might still be looking for that outside guy. Who knows? Maybe we like Donte as the outside guy. If not, maybe if we view him as the versatile piece where he can play out, almost like Cam Sutton. He could play outside. He could play inside. So we might still try to draft a dude early, second round, third round to be outside, or maybe even pick up an Adoree Jackson, any one of these other dudes that are out there in free agency. I'm just curious to see how much more we're going to add to the cornerback room, or we feel like, hey, we're good with him. So I feel like some of these notes, some of these highlights make the deal seem a little bit better. And just the fact, too, it seems like the Steelers were just done with Diontae. And maybe Diontae was done with being here. Dulac reported that one of the reasons this deal was done is just the Steelers were tired of the headaches. And there's multiple things that you could point to. Diontae and Mitch getting in a little bit of an argument back in 2022, halftime of that Jets game. There was something with Diontae and Minka just this year. Diontae in that Bengals game, not giving that good of an effort. No, not giving any effort. Let's just be straight up about it. Not giving any effort to try to make a tackle on the Bengals defender who picked up the fumble after Jaylen Warren put it on the ground. Like there's been little things that have popped up with Diontae. And he's not putting out AB dominant wide receiver one production, and we're paying him $18 million. Maybe he doesn't fit Arthur Smith's system enough. So I think there was a little bit of a deck stacked against Diontae and what the Steelers are looking at here for 2024. And that's why the deal was made. Now I thought it would just be, we trade Diontae, we get a draft pick, we clear up that cap space. I guess we like Donte Jackson, though. We are looking at cornerbacks. We need cornerbacks here. It's just I wonder if he's going to be our CB2, if we're going to look elsewhere, bring in competition, bring in another guy. I know we got JPJ, we got Corey Trice, and then now Donte Jackson. Outside of that, I just feel like there's more to be had. There's more to be had. There's more moves to be had. But it all depends on how the Steelers view Jackson. Do they view him as the every down starter, or do they view him as versatile piece, guy that maybe can compete for CB2, and we'll wait and see what happens in the offseason. We'll, again, have to wait and find out. That goes back to what I said at the beginning here. Let's wait and see what we do. Rest of free agency at cornerback, receiver, and all these other positions. Just an interesting trade, weird trade when it happened. And I still feel like that a little bit today, but as some of these reports and some of these details are coming out, it makes a little bit more sense. I'll put it to you guys that way. But next thing I wanted to talk about was Pat P. He went on his podcast recently. I don't know if it was yesterday. It might have been the day before. But made it clear that even though he was cut by the Steelers, he is still open to returning to Pittsburgh. Have a listen.
And did you make that known to Mike T on that phone call?
Oh, yeah. Coach T knows that. Coach T knows since when I left, when we had our exit meeting. So I was like, I can be your second and third corner and your nickel for sure, because we don't have a nickel on the roster. I know the defense. I understand what we need to do.
Yeah.
I know how important that position is. If that's going to come down to a pay cut, I'll take the pay cut. That's not a problem to me. The thing to me is not about the money at this point. I just want to have an opportunity to win a championship.
He also highlighted the fact that he thinks JPJ, even though he's a year in, might still need a veteran around for year 2, and that's some of the value that Pat P could bring to the team if he were to come back.
I want to be able to help Joey, to help his career to continue to flourish.
Mm-hmm.
Joey can be so special, man. Like, but he have no one there that can help him get to where he want to go, that have the experience
Yeah.
to help him go where he want to go. And if the Pittsburgh Steelers have the aspiration of Joey being what they want him to be, I mean, I know it's free agent coming up. Obviously they have decisions to make, but at the same time, like, what other guy wouldn't you want to have around teaching the young pup? Like, I've done everything that y'all want him to be.
Yeah, bro. So I get what he's saying, but this is tough because best I see for Pat P right now, like this is his ceiling for being on the Steelers in 2024. It would be a rotational piece at cornerback and also at safety. Like, I'm not feeling great if he's our starting safety next to Minkah Fitzpatrick. And I'm not feeling great either if he's CB3, like if he's one of our top 3 corners. And that's as we sit here right now. And that's without us picking up potentially a Justin Simmons or a Cameron Curl or maybe one of these other cornerbacks or maybe even drafting a cornerback out there. I get the value. I get having someone there for JPJ. I really like the idea of that. But at the same time, it isn't the be-all, end-all. Like, Donte Jackson's coming in here. He's been in the league for a while. Like, supposedly he's a good locker room guy and a vet in and of itself, right? He's been in the league for like 6-7 years, been a starting quarterback. So, like, he brings some of that to the table. I get Pat P has been there, done that, Hall of Fame career. But there's how many corners out there that haven't had a Hall of Fame mentor and still paved a path for themselves. Sauce Gardner, I don't think he had anyone around to help him his rookie year. But he wins Rookie of the Year. He's one of the best corners, if not the best corner in the league, right? So if JPJ is going to do it, JPJ is going to do it. And I think he does have leadership or mentorship better than most when you compare him to other young guys that come into the league, being that his dad is Joey Porter. So right now, I it's tough. I just don't see it. I just don't see it because I thought Pat P did do decent for us last year in a certain niche, in a certain role. But now he's only going to be 1 year older. I get it. The door's open, and I'm fine with the door being open because you never know. You saw we had to spin the block with Miles Jack last season. But I think the Steelers are looking the other direction. The door's open, but I think the Steelers are focused on some other things right now. But, yeah, I don't have anything bad to say about Pat P. No. I appreciate some of the things that he said here about loving being in Pittsburgh and the opportunities we gave him and how it was a good journey for him, good part of his journey. Last 2 things. I'll talk about these quickly. Mason Rudolph. We got another report with him. Not interested in coming back to the Steelers. We had, was it yesterday's video? It seems like forever ago. I think I did a video yesterday morning before the Patrick Queen and the Diontae Johnson trade news discussing Mason Rudolph and how apparently he's open to return. He still has some outside interest from other teams. But then, yesterday, Mark Caboli said that Mason Rudolph is not interested in coming back to the Steelers. Now, there was a caveat where he said the door isn't closed, but I think his priorities are elsewhere, which makes sense. Yeah, completely makes sense. I was more surprised that he was open to coming back, or like that could actually be a legit option. I was more surprised at that report than this one, because this one still doesn't slam the door shut on the Steelers. But with us bringing in Russell Wilson, like, come on. He might get a better opportunity somewhere else, at least to be a backup. Like here, I don't even think he's going to get a good shot to be the backup going up against Kenny and Russ. Now, he could view it as this would be still the best opportunity to start if it's really going to be an open competition, he could come in here and it could be a three-way competition between Mason, Kenny, and Russ. I don't know if anyone's going to give him that. I think he's going to sign somewhere and he's going to be a team's backup to start the season. Like, that's how they're going to view him. Whereas here, I mean, if we're going to have a Kenny and Russ competition, why not throw Mason into the fold too? I don't know if the Steelers want to do it that way, though, because that might be too many reps being dispersed amongst guys that potentially be the starter. I think you want to narrow that down as much as possible. It's just between these two guys. We don't want to make it a three-way competition here. So yeah. Yeah, this report makes sense. And then last thing, this isn't Steelers related, but it also is at the same time because it has to do with the AFC North. Apparently, Justin Jefferson may be on the move here. Vikings might be trading him. There's conflicting reports. Vikings said today that they are all in and trying to get him an extension. But you got Jamar Chase tweeting out a cryptic tweet that says this will be a crazy story to tell. There are some links because the Bengals have T. Higgins who requested a trade. Justin Jefferson, I'm assuming, isn't too thrilled that Kirk Cousins isn't coming back to the Vikings. So people are putting two and two together. There's also like this whole story out there from someone at Kroger that knows Joe Burrow and that he'd be willing to take a discount if he could reunite with his LSU teammates, Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. So yeah, there's stuff out there about this. I don't want it to happen. But the trade package would be T. Higgins and 2 firsts. The Bengals would be sending over to the Vikings for Justin Jefferson. Yeah, I wouldn't like that at all. I don't think any of us would like that. So here's hoping to these rumors being completely false. Let's just hope the Bengals lose T. Higgins. They make a trade. Maybe they don't get much in return. And they also lose Tyler Boyd. Like, that's what we want. We don't want them losing T. Higgins and getting Justin Jefferson in return and them having Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase and Burrow taking pay cuts out here. That's not what we want. That's not what we want as Steeler fans. No. So, yeah, let's hope those rumors turn out to be false and it's just all fake news. Although this is the one. This is the tough part. You got AB reporting that the deal already happened. And so far, AB and his new network, CT-ESPN, have been 1 for 1 on their reporting because they said Russell Wilson was going to sign to the Steelers on a 1-year deal. It was like 2 days before it happened. He's reporting that Justin Jefferson to the Bengals has already happened as well. So yeah, that's the thing that's got me worried, actually. Out of all the, the cryptic tweets coming from Jamar Chase or the whole Kroger story about knowing Burrow and that he would be willing to take a pay cut, I think the AB report is the thing that should make you most concerned because he's 1 for 1 right now. He's batting 1,000% on his reporting. But yeah, that's it for today's show. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts on the trade. If you guys have changed your opinion on the Donte trade, or you have the same opinion, what do you like about it? What do you don't like about it? Thoughts on Pat P being open to returning. Would you do it? Mason Rudolph and also Justin Jefferson and these trade rumors to the Bengals. Let me know your thoughts on any of it. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed. Stay chilling. Peace out.